Normals are mathematical vectors that are used by Blender primarily to help calculate the shading of a surface. There are three main types of normals that are created by default. The first of these is the face normal. Every polygon in a mesh has its own face normal, which is perpendicular to the surface of that face. Of course, this assumes that the face is coplanar. Face normals protrude from the front face of a polygon and are used to differentiate between the front and back faces of the polygon. These face normals are also used when we extrude a face. That extrusion can be in the same direction as the face normal. Usually, the normals of a mesh are hidden from our view, but we can make them visible from within the Mesh Edit Mode Overlays panel. In a well-formed mesh, all normals should be facing outward, meaning that the front face is being presented to the viewer. A quick way of checking that this is the case is to select the Face Orientation option. This appears in the Viewport Overlays. In older versions of Blender, front-facing polygons showed in blue, but their color now remains unchanged. Visible back faces did, and still do, appear in red. The most obvious problem with a back face being visible is that the shading in that area of the mesh will be incorrect. We'll discuss the other two types of normals in the next video. In the Mesh menu, the Normals entry has a substantial submenu. The first three of these relate to adjusting the direction of a front face. Flip switches the position of the face and other normals of all selected faces by 180 degrees. In effect, this places the normals on the opposite side of the face. We need to do this on occasion for various reasons. The most likely is that as we edit a mesh, occasionally Blender will create a new face orientated in the wrong direction, with its back face pointing outwards. Since Blender doesn't do this often, we'll cheat and start with a cube where one face has been already flipped to the wrong orientation. Using the flip command on the wrongly orientated face corrects our problem. Another scenario where flipping the normals can be useful is where we want to use what would normally be the inside of a mesh as the outside. For example, a popular subject for modeling is an isometric view of a room where only two walls and the floor are showing. The easiest way to achieve the walls and floor is to start with a cube and delete three of its sides. But what remains in view are back faces, which can easily be switched to front faces by using the flip operation. Recalculate outside leaves it to Blender to reorientate face normals so that all selected faces on the outside of a mesh are set as front faces. Recalculate inside allows Blender to reorientate selected face normals so that all selected faces on the outside of a mesh are set as back faces. We'll look at the remaining normals operations in the next video.